So I just missed it. I just saw the last 3 seconds of it, and it might possibly be one of the best movies of all time. It's Once Upon a Time in the West. And if you haven't seen it, you've got to see it. Now, you might disagree with me. Well, let's say the best of the westerns, or best of the spaghetti westerns. Now, you might disagree with me and say The Good, the Bad, the Ugly, and I would have to say I go back and forth on that. That's like, what did it say? The quintessential or whatever. That's awesome, right? But of telling the American story of something American, like how badass things are, but how sad everything is. You have the music, the dun 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 dun, dun, like it's almost like horse going along. And Sergio Leone, who did the Clint Eastwood movies, The Man with No Name, The Good, the Bad, the Ugly, did The Good, the Bad, the Ugly. That's why you kind of see that Jason Robards' character is kind of like the Tuco character of Eli Wallach. You must have the good, the bad, the ugly, and the silent, the protagonist being the silent guy. In the Once Upon a Time in the West, you have Claudia Cardinelli. You have Henry Fonda, who up until that point always played a good guy. You had Jason Robards and Charles Bronson. And here's a little intermittent piece right here. Henry Fonda, much later on, talking about Once Upon a Time in the West, tells a story about how he knew of Sergio Leone, and he knew he was going to play a bad guy or whatever, so he got his blue eyes, so he got these dark contacts for his eyes. This is just when contacts came out, and he says, who's the most evil guy around the time of the Old West? And he goes, oh, John Wilkes Booth. So he got the handlebar mustache with the little suit catcher or whatever here, and Sergio Leone goes, oh no, he doesn't get rid of all that, shave and take out the contacts, want to see your blue eyes. And he wonders why, until he actually sees the film, because when they kill the family at the beginning, and the guy turns to him and goes, what should we do about the boy, Frank, who's 8 years old? He goes, now that you said my name, and then they execute him. The cinematography, film around, you see Henry Fonda's face just staring at just with a blank look of, that he wanted the audience to go, oh my God, it's Henry Fonda, because he had always played a good guy up until he never played a bad guy. But the depression of it, why you see what makes Charles Bronson such a badass in the movie, like why he's a badass guy and why he's trying to kill, I want to call him Angel Eyes, but that's the name of Lee Van Cleef's character in The Good, the Bad, the Ugly. But why he wants to kill Frank, or what's his name, Henry Fonda. And this is a spoiler alert right here, so just mute this. It's the flashback where he kicks out. He has his. He's a young kid, and his brother is standing on him. He's got a rope around his neck, and he shoves the harmonica in his mouth. That's throughout the whole movie, playing harmonica. He says, something like "keep your ever-loving brother happy" or something like that. And his brother actually kicks him out from under him, so he won't feel the guilt. And it's just the tragedy of the West, and the harshness and the grittiness of it. It wasn't cool and shoot 'em up cowboys like all the cowboy movies were in the 50s and 60s. That it was something dark, that people were badass in there, but there was because when I first saw the movie, in the beginning of it, the first hour, I hated Jason Robards' character. I can't believe Jason Robards is playing this type of character, but he's good at it. You think he's just the worst scumbag, but then it's not so bad. It's strange, and Charles Bronson's such a frickin' badass, and Henry Fonda is just very evil. Frank, talking to Henry Fonda, do you have to kill them all? Do you have to kill them all? Just to kill the family? I said, scare them. Henry Fonda goes, people scared better when they're dying. I mean, just how evil, and just the music that one, you know, because they've got the one music that I poorly represented, but also the woo, you know, that like singing, the sadness. I mean, I won't even call it depression, just the sadness, and almost like, you know, like, oh my God, these people, how many nameless people suffered blood, sweat, and tears to build this country. And you sit back at the end of it, and you're just like, that was a great movie. I mean, it's badass. It's powerful. You've got some really characters that are just kick ass, and just the view of America. Oh my God! Like when Claudia Cardinelli, you know, who's basically a whore from New Orleans, who's going to restart her life, came and sees his family murdered. You know, who then is going out, you know, who wants to not be, you know, want to be, you know, a respectable woman, who's going out to give these railroad workers water at the end, and it ends with that. And it's perfect to end with that. And that there's no good guy, or you know, somebody who's pure, you know, yeah, you know, no John Wayne type crap. Perfect story of American West. Filmed in Spain with the leading actress speaking Italian. But by an Italian director. I mean, telling the most clearest picture of what it was like for America. I mean, that was the American story, and the hardship. I mean, it's a perfect title, Once Upon a Time in the West. Because you have to imagine that's pretty much how it would be like. It's just, and that's who we all are. I mean, we're all built on that. That's, you know, our ancestors went through many periods like that. But it's so close at hand, and I mean, you can even still today, if you go out to the western states where there's still very little rain and it's just got prairie grass, you can see the indentation of the Oregon Trail, which happened before what we call the Old West. And there's still ghost towns out there. And it's almost, it's about 150 years away. But to my parents' generation, it was less than 100 years away. And to my grandparents, they knew people, and my parents even saw people who were, you know, were with Curly Bill Brocious, and you know, who knew Wyatt Earp, and you know, hated Wyatt Earp. And, you know, they saw him on TV in the 50s. These people were still alive. Some of them in the 80s. They were in their 80s, but you know, were people who knew Butch Cassidy. It's strange. I guess my generation's the last link with that. They knew somebody that saw someone who knew that, you know, but we're never going to get westerns like Sergio Leone made them. But Once Upon a Time in the West, if you like the good and the bad and the ugly, or even if you hated it, watch Once Upon a Time in the West. Take it easy, peace to you, and we'll get to Serbia, Syria, and Ireland. Please pray for the Copts.